right now. Gregg Rosenthal. First off, before we get into the players, why are there going to be more trades this offseason? Why do you think that is?
I want to know who's in the lab on Friday nights working on the NFL and reading my articles. Yeah, I will be, because there's so much to talk about with all these trades. There's more salary cap space, Patrick, than ever before. That's the number one reason, and teams have to use it in some way. They can take on salaries. If I think about the Dwayne Brown trade at the trading deadline last year, so that's one reason. Another is there are not many great free agents available. Teams are doing a better job re-signing their young players, and it's also a copycat league. You look at the Eagles and the Patriots. The Eagles started 3 key guys they picked up in trades last year. No team has traded more than the Patriots over the last 2 years. No 2 teams have traded more than the Eagles and the Patriots over this decade. There's only so many ways you can pick up quality talent. I think teams are starting to realize it's worth it to trade, be a little more risk-friendly.
And one team that made a trade to the Super Bowl champions was the Dolphins, sending Jay Ajayi. You've got Jarvis Landry on your list. They just tagged him. How's that going to work, Greg?
You're not supposed to tag a player with the intent to trade, but as we've heard from Ian Rappaport, he's a guy who's going to attract interest around the league. I'd be really interested if the New Orleans Saints, one of the teams that Ian mentioned, is really interested, because they could be going for a Super Bowl this year with Drew Brees. And Landry's a guy who I think they'd accept having him on their roster for $16 million, but it would hurt their cap. I don't think they want to give him a long-term deal. And he's talented enough to get that long-term deal elsewhere. I think he's a guy who will get traded in the end.
Also, Tyrod Taylor, Greg. So many quarterbacks available. Why do you think Tyrod is a candidate for a trade?
I feel like this is a recurring segment with us, Patrick.
Yes.
Tyrod not getting enough respect. He's no one's first choice for quarterback this offseason, so it will be tricky to trade him. But if you look at that contract, the Bills, I don't think want to have him on their roster for $18 million. They're basically advertising, in my mind, hey guys, he's available in a trade. If you want to send us a late round pick, we'll send him to you. He's going to have to wait for Kirk Cousins, maybe some other free agents to shake out, but I don't think that's a bad contract at all. A team like Arizona, for instance, could be interested. You get a guy relatively cheap, short-term starter. Tyrod would make a lot of sense in a few places.
Also, Greg, nobody's first choice, the Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, I thought you were saying I'm nobody's first choice.
No, you're my first choice, Greg. You know
that hurts. He wasn't even my first choice for this segment, Nick Foles, necessarily. But I get it. He's a Super Bowl MVP who could be available. But the Eagles love how cheaply they have the quarterback position set between Foles and Wentz. So I think they're going to price themselves out of trading Nick Foles. They would only take him for some really high draft picks. I don't think any teams are going to be interested at that price. And it's a great thing to have a great backup quarterback like Nick Foles. Why not keep him around?
Yeah, you never want your best attribute to be that you don't have to be paid a lot. Earl Thomas, Greg, a guy who, if he keeps pace, could be headed towards Canton. What do you think the opportunity is there?
He should be paid a lot, and I think the Seahawks will have to pay him a lot at some point, or they'll have to listen to potential trades. This is one I don't think would happen before free agency, but if a team, let's say like the Cowboys or another team out there, doesn't get the safety that they want in free agency, maybe they could call the Seahawks, who I believe would at least listen if you were aggressive enough and really wanted to give up a top shelf pick for Earl Thomas. It's going to be difficult to work out a long-term contract with him.